Marketers, you know that feeling when your content just works? When you crush a viral trend before 10 a.m.? When one tiny tweak to a landing page sends click-through rates through the roof? That's Contentful. Dynamic content made blissfully simple. Contentful helps you create and launch personalized experiences instantly across any digital channel. No stress, no limits, only possibilities. Come get the feels at Contentful.com.
Your burger is served, and this is our finest Pepsi Zero Sugar. Its sweet profile perfectly balances the savory notes of your burger.
That is one perfect combination. Burgers deserve Pepsi.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
This is the way it feels to move through summer in Lululemon. Iconic Align softness without the front seam. For our smoothest look and feel ever, summer won't know what hit it. Stretch your limits in the non-stop flexibility of the new Lululemon Align No-Line Pant in select stores and at Lululemon.com.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/Jack Welch MBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at polestar.com.
Welcome to the HCI family of podcasts. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development. We share our own original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. Join us for practitioner-oriented content around all things leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with the HCI family of podcasts.
Artem Koren, welcome to the conversation today.
Hi, John.
It's a pleasure to be with you. You're joining us from Amsterdam. I'm south of Salt Lake City in Utah. And today we're going to be talking about pioneering the way forward in artificial intelligence at work. What an important topic. Obviously, we're in the throes of really early stages of large language models, implementation in the workplace. ChatGPT really came on the scene, almost 2 years ago now, when it really launched and started the wide scale mass adoption. And then all of these tools started to come forward. And my goodness, it seems like almost every week there's a whole new onslaught of applications and tools and ways that it's being utilized. And it's fascinating, it's thrilling, but it's also overwhelming to try to keep up with it all. But we should also note that this isn't new.
On WhatsApp, no one can see or hear your personal messages.
Whether it's a voice call, message, or sending a password, to WhatsApp, it's all just this. So whether you're sharing the streaming password in the family chat or trading those late-night voice messages that could basically become a podcast, your personal messages stay between you, your friends, and your family. No one else. Not even us. WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone.
With a Venmo debit card, you can Venmo more than just your friends. You can use your balance in so many ways. You can Venmo everything. Need gas? You can Venmo this. How about snacks? You can Venmo that. Your favorite band's merch? You can Venmo this. Or their next show? You can Venmo that. Visit venmo.me/debit to learn more.
You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo this, or you can Venmo that. You can Venmo.
The Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A. pursuant to license by MasterCard International Incorporated. Card may be used everywhere MasterCard is accepted. Venmo purchase restrictions apply.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream house or ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Running a business comes with a lot of what ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
We've been messing around with artificial intelligence and deep machine learning now for a long time. It's just what is new, I think, is the mass adoption of these tools and these resources over the last couple of years. And I think what is new also is really the imagination of the populace at large and how all of this is going to be utilized and how it's going to shape the nature of work and the future of work moving forward. So this is all of what we're going to be talking about and how we can really pioneer and move this forward in a healthy way, in a productive way. This is what we're going to explore together today. As we get started, I wanted to share Artem's bio with everybody. Artem Koren grew up and lived most of his adult life in New York City. He graduated from Columbia University with a degree in computer science. He later attended the NYU Stern School of Business, where he earned his MBA. Artem is passionate about using AI to enrich humanity and create positive change. He combines his experience as a systems engineer, product manager, and IT executive, management consultant, and entrepreneur to create innovative products, bringing to life new ways that technology can help us reach our goals. Assembly AI, which he co-founded in 2019 at the forefront of advancing natural language understanding, is paving the way for symbiotic partnership between humans and technology. And as we get started, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your background, but also Assembly AI, and then we'll dive on into the conversation.
Sounds great. My background is in technology and management consulting primarily. So I started in technology leadership, technology management back in the early days when clouds were a new concept. And I eventually transitioned into management consulting. I was in and out of management consulting for about a decade, working mostly in operational management with Fortune 500 companies, marshaling resources, tools, processes to allow very large organizations manage their workforce in a way that allows them to very effectively execute on their strategies. And in some sense, it's similar to how you would effectively organize an army to fight a war. It's the same scale of problem, and there are certain, let's say, special approaches and frameworks and methodologies that you can put to use in order to allow companies to do this well. And so I did a lot of that. And coming out of that experience, getting together with my co-founder Gil McCleff in 2019, we thought about how powerful it would be if you had a technology that could listen in and understand the conversations that have in the meetings that power companies every day, especially as a management consultant. But this is true for most knowledge workers today, and many, a huge fraction of our workforce are knowledge workers now. If having AI understand what is being said in the meeting really delivers outsized results, because most of your time is now spent on meetings. So as a manager today and as a management consultant before, my day was meetings. It was a rare day that wasn't completely filled with meetings. And that's where the idea for Assembly AI was born. We were pretty early to the game. I like to say that we did AI before AI was cool. And then just as life would have it, in a typical startup life, we got hit with a pandemic, we got hit with a war, and we got hit with a technology revolution in the form of large language models. And so we've survived those various tsunamis to arrive where we are today, where we are one of the leaders, in some cases the leader, in AI teammate technology. We're very strong on agentic AI tech, and we offer the Assembly product and Assembly and extension to that product that is able to attend your meetings, understand you and your work intimately, and then allow you to automate many of the manual activities that you do every day, like document creation and meeting notes and other things like that.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. And even just when we were joining this Zoom together to start this interview, of course, your Assembly AI bot joined as well to take notes and to record the meeting and to do all that. And I think that's probably not new to folks, who are listening or watching this interview. I think we've all started to experience that over the last while, that there are these different types of tools that are doing this. And it's super helpful because, like you said, we're finding ourselves in meetings constantly. And I would say during the pandemic, it seems like, I guess I don't have hard data for this, you probably do, but it seems like there's this proliferation, I can't say the word. There was this expansion of meetings. Like we just all of a sudden started to see the blow up of meetings occur. I know I certainly experienced that. The number of meetings that I attended just went up over the course of the pandemic, in part because I think everyone just started doing virtual meetings all the time. And then everyone started signing everyone up for the meetings, where you used to just be in person. But now if it's a virtual meeting, you just throw everyone in the meeting. And so people started attending meetings that they probably didn't need to meet to be a part of. And so that's a different conversation for a different day about like the how useful all these meetings are. But the point is, if you're attending lots of meetings, it's nice to have a tool that can track it all for you, summarize it all for you, pull out the key bits for you, all of those sorts of things. And something like Assembly has been a really great resource for all of that.
Absolutely. From my perspective, it's less about the fact that it's meetings. It's more about allowing AI to help you maximally in the work that you do. And so today we have these very powerful LLMs, and as you mentioned, they're getting more powerful. Seems like now every week.
Yeah.
We started with GPT, which is really strong from OpenAI, but now Anthropic's Claude is very strong. Google's Gemini is making strides in different areas, and so on and so on. And there's a large movement of open LLMs from Hugging Face and NVIDIA, from Meta with the Llama. And so these are huge, powerful brains, if you will, right? These are really powerful brains that you can ask them a question and they'll give you a smart and thoughtful answer in many, many cases. The problem is that those brains don't know you. They've never met you. They don't know what you did today. They don't know what you've been working on, what your team is doing, what your company does, why you're here. But they're a really smart brain, but they're a brain in a vat. And so, I like to think of it as it's like having a brilliant um, expert or a consultant who's outside on the street, and you could ask them a question, and often that's very helpful. However, that as genius as these LLMs are today, they couldn't help you in many of the tactical things that you actually need to do to move your specific initiative or process or project forward. If you came to ChatGPT 4.0.1, right, the really smart one, right, the one that reflects and thinks, and you asked it, hey, create for me a sales proposal. It has no idea who are you, for what product, what's the customer, what's the pricing strategy, what are we doing, and what jurisdiction are we. It's the number of questions and of specificity that you need to be able to have in order to create a document that you would create is in the hundreds or the thousands, and it just doesn't have that information. And that's the kind of gap that we wanted to address, which is you can, by enabling these brains to plug into your day-to-day work, they're able to create for you the kinds of artifacts and responses that are hyper specialized to the situation you're in. So when you use Semblian and you ask it, hey, can you create a customer proposal for me, it knows exactly what you're talking about. It knows everything that you've been doing with the customer, what your team has been doing with your customer, the history of that account. And it compiles dynamically all the information it needs to produce for you a proposal that is quite similar, or in some areas maybe even more complete and better than you would yourself produce. And that's the magic that we're seeing today.
Yeah, I mean, and that's amazing. How do you approach the confidentiality piece, the data security piece of all of this?
Non-negotiable. That's something that we started with. So there's a few. So confidentiality is one, data security is another. There's also a piece around consent. There's also a piece around privacy, and these are all individual dimensions that we have to address, being the kind of platform that we are. And so there are aspects and features in the platform, both on the product side, on the technology side, and infrastructure side, and the process and organization side, that we implement to ensure that we maintain this at the right level, at the required level for our customers. It's a combination of dozens and dozens and dozens of elements that have to come together to enable us to deliver strong confidentiality, strong security and infrastructure, and also consent. So, for example, we are a SOC 2 Type 2 certified organization. That means that there's a slew of technology security, process security implementations that we do to make sure that the infrastructure and the service process layer of our organization can guarantee you certain levels of security. All right, so that answers a lot of questions in that area. But these days we are starting to get, and this is really new, this really just started happening maybe a month ago, we started to get security questionnaires that are only about AI security. So that's been interesting. And so, we have good answers for that. Some elements are things that we've been audited on. Some elements are things that we require our sub-processors to guarantee to us, et cetera, et cetera. So it's really it's been a challenge to make sure that a SaaS provider's infrastructure is up to par to provide a level of security to a company. Think about Slack, think about Gmail, right? Like these companies need to maintain a lot of levels of security to be compliant with confidentiality and security requirements. But we have to satisfy that, but now we have to go beyond and cover that for AI as well. We fully support GDPR, all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of different considerations that there's sort of like the part of the iceberg that's under the water. in order for you to get that really cool auto-generated AI result that's above the water surface.
Yeah, well, that's good. And I asked that not because I don't think you have that thought through. I'm sure you do, like you said. But I know that's a concern that everyone has, right? So I'm sure every client that you're working with, that's one of the first things they ask about. I'm sure everyone listening, that's one of the first things they're thinking about and concerned about. And so that's definitely, something that every company, has to, think about and be concerned about. And it's one of the key considerations moving forward as we move into the future of work using these large language models and generative AI, as a tool. Let's pivot and talk a little bit more just about the general trends you're seeing in relation to artificial intelligence in the workplace. I mean, just where we've come over the last couple of years is quite tremendous. I mean, I remember it was like early December, almost 2 years ago. ChatGPT gets released, and I'm kind of blown away. I'm just starting to play with it a little bit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is pretty clunky, and not. I mean, it's kind of fun to play with, but not super useful at the very, very beginning. But clearly, I think everyone could start to see the potential. Within a month or two, though, I mean, it was already starting to be fairly useful. And then all these tools started to be produced. I mean, fast forward 2 years, though, it's super useful. And there are all these tools, and you just described exactly how it can be so incredibly powerful. And we're only 2 years in, like where do you see us going in the next year, let alone say the next 3 to 5 years in terms of this technology?
I think it will impact different verticals and different types of workers differently. So, for example, I just had a call with a really good friend of mine who is a eye surgeon, and he's curious about new tech and AI, and he's a very experienced guy with his own very successful practice. And in talking about AI, it was interesting because in his work, I think it'll be a long time before AI is not just kind of like a supporting element, but an element that really plays a big role in the execution of what he does. Because any place where you have to start to touch the physical world, things get many, many, many more times complex. But places that are information driven, which is a lot of our service economy these days, and not only, I think AI will make huge dents there over just the next few years. And I think a good way to think about it is like this. Generally we're doing, there's a level of like day-to-day activity, and then there are like kind of small projects, big projects, and then long initiatives. And all of these you can think about as sort of like, journeys, right? Let's say you have a project that you're working on. It could be a 1 week project or a multi-month project, doesn't matter. But we all have projects, meaning like, we're taking something from point A to point B. And in that space, we need to kick off. We need to understand exactly, what we want to accomplish. Then we need to identify the resources, then marshal those resources through the execution. Each one does the things that they're specialized to do. During that whole time, you're having different meetings, different statusing. Eventually, you're looking at the result. Somebody approves it. It goes into realization, and then the world becomes a better place. And then you're kind of doing post-release monitoring. And in that sense, many projects, probably most, are very similar. And if you think about that, it's very similar to like an airplane flight. Like, you're taxiing off the gate, you're doing takeoff, then you're in flight, in cruise, and then you're doing the landing. And if you think about the earliest airplanes, the Wright brothers, if you were to point a camera at the pilot, the whole flight, they're going like this, right? The whole time, right? From beginning to end, they're pulling, pushing, straining, right? Because everything was completely manual. Like you want to turn that part of the wing this way, you got to do that. A little bit of wind comes, you got to do that. And so you're constantly kind of trying to keep this bird in the air. Fast forward a couple of decades, and in the beginning of the flight, taxiing, takeoff, landing, at the end of the flight, it's still very, very active. But now during cruise, for the most part, you're kind of monitoring, right? You're you're navigating, but the airplane does a lot of things for you. Like you're no longer doing this mid-flight. And fast forward to more modern times, like the last couple of decades, maybe the past decade. Now you have, firstly you have autopilot, so like your monitoring is like hyper limited now during cruise generally, and the landing is almost fully automated, right? There are these things called ILS-based landings where you basically tell it, okay, like we're ready to land, and the airplane's like, okay, I got this, and he just does the landing for you, more or less. I know there's so much more to it. I don't by any means mean to simplify what pilots are doing. They're a phenomenal workload on top of everything that's going on, but the system is so much safer now because all of those foundational mechanical elements are automated away, and the pilot can focus on more quote unquote strategic thinking. Like, are we in a weird situation right now? Like, should we be thinking about a factor that this automatic system is not potentially a good solution for this individual situation, and so on and so on, right? So like higher order thinking, and the only reason they can do this because they're freed up because the automated systems are there. In AI for everyday workers, it's going to be the same thing. We're already starting to see little bits, right? Like so already, AI does a phenomenal job at something simple like meeting notes, right? So like suddenly you can pay more attention like during your call, but eventually like the AI will start to understand you better and better. And so like, for example, in Semblian, AI understands you so well that it can give you specialized insights after your meeting. So now it's like, instead of kind of tabula rasa, what am I supposed to do now? You have a specialist recommending you, like, here are the things you should really focus on based on what this meeting was about and like the goals you're trying to achieve. And so now you're like, you have, okay, like it simplifies your life a little bit more. This document creation thing, right? Like, okay, like I no longer have to tabula rasa, like spend a week writing a document. And we literally have this feedback from our users that this is how it's working for them. Like something that used to take them a week, the AI can collate from across the way different areas, and then bring together a document that would take you a week to do. It can do it in a minute. And so it's freeing you up for more strategic thinking. Eventually, the AI will be so smart, and we're talking not so far away, like 1 to maximum 3 years, where the AI knows what you're doing. It'll be able to predict the kinds of things you need, correspond with other AIs from other team members and other teams, get you that information before you even need to ask for it. And so, ultimately, hopefully, meetings will become more of a social affair, like kind of a team connecting affair, because the mechanics and the specific like things you needed to get from someone or share with someone or get, like those types of things that like the real, work reasons why you're having meetings, AI will facilitate a lot of that, and they will kind of digest away the bits of meeting, digest away the bits of manual process. And of course, like the takeoff is still going to be kind of manual. You're going to need to have, human brain involved in that process. The landing will be kind of manual, right? You're going to want to have a human involved in the delivery part. But that interim, like all of that time, like 90%, 80% of the time that you spend in execution of whatever you're doing, I think a lot of that AI will automate away and allow you to be a lot more strategic during that time.
Which, I mean, that sounds amazing. And I think all of us would like to spend less time doing kind of the manual work, the repetitive work. We'd like to spend more time doing the high order work, the strategic work, the creative work. That's where I think all of this is taking us, and that's what gets me excited. Well, Artem, I note the time. I'm going to have to let you go here in just a minute, but this has just been a great conversation. Before we wrap things up, I wanted to give you a chance to share with the audience how they can connect with you, find out more about your work, your team, and then give us a final word on the topic for today.
Sure. So you can, first of all, our website, www.sembly.ai, that's SEMBLY.ai. You can find all the information about the product there. It supports over 40 languages. It's got plans for individuals, teams, and enterprise. Definitely check it out. Semblian is something only we have, doesn't exist in the world outside of our product. This level of automated document creation, it's just something you have to see to believe. You can find me on LinkedIn, Artem Koren, that's ARTEM, Koren, KOREN. Feel free to get in touch. If you shoot our sales team a note, that you found out about this from the podcast, we'll give you a special bonus, and you'll find out what it is when you talk to our salespeople. I think that's it. I think it's something exciting and interesting, and something you should definitely try in your work. And it's one of those things where you didn't know you couldn't live without it, but after you use it, you're like, wow, I never want to go back to the other way.
Awesome. Artem, thank you so much. It's just been a real pleasure. I encourage the audience to reach out, to get connected, find out more about what Artem and his team can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the podcast. We hope you stay healthy and safe, and please join us again soon.